Hey guys, welcome back to the Deadly Duo Chronicles podcast. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
And on this week's episode, we're going to be switching things up a little bit and we're going to be talking about a mystery disappearance.
We're going to be talking about the mystery disappearance of 14-year-old Ashley Nicole Summers from Cleveland, Ohio. But first, some trigger warnings. Kidnapping, sensitive topic, and language.
Viewer discretion is advised. Ashley Nicole Summers was born June 16th in Cleveland, Ohio, to her mother, Jennifer Summers, and Jennifer's very large extended family. She was the oldest of her siblings. She would often help her mother with her younger siblings. Ashley is described as a joy to be around, a loving and caring person. Ashley was also very close with her family. She marched to the beat of her own drum, and her relationship with her mother, they were really close. It was just your typical mother-daughter relationship.
Shortly before her 14th birthday, Ashley started seeing a boy named Gene. Gene was 16 and they met in the neighborhood. Ashley's mom, Jennifer, didn't approve but Ashley often brought Gene over while her mom was working. Jennifer always found out from the other kids in the home.
Yeah, I think it was her younger brothers that ratted her out. It's always the younger sibling.
It really is. I know from experience.
I know.
Ashley's rebellious behavior increased one day when Jennifer found out Ashley had took some money from her drawer and used it to get a tattoo of her boyfriend's name. With a heart on her arm, Jennifer decided it would be a good idea for Ashley to stay with her mom, who lived close by. Jennifer said she did this to keep her away from Gene. Ashley seemed happy with this arrangement, and she also spent time at her great-uncle Kevin Donathan's home. His home, it was always busy with various cousins and being there.
So, 14, I feel like that's just typical behavior, especially when you get a boy involved.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's typical behavior when you get a boy involved. So I don't know if I would really necessarily say rebellious behavior. I would say your average typical behavior. As far as the tattoo and the getting the boy's name on her arm, I think I coming from a mom standpoint, I think that is, everybody handles everything differently.
Right.
So I personally think that Ashley was still seeing Gene, even though she went to live with her grandma. I just think maybe grandma kind of looked the other way a little bit. Coming from experience,
grandma might not have been as vigilant as the mom.
Yeah, I feel like grandmas are always, they're moms, they're strict to the parents, and then when they become grandmas, they kind of become mushy. So there's that.
Yeah.
And Uncle Kevin, or Uncle Keith, which the uncle that we're talking about in this particular moment, his house was considered the hangout spot for the
fun house.
Yeah.
He was the fun uncle.
Yeah, he was the fun uncle.
Right.
Ashley was last seen July 4th of 2007 after leaving a pool party at her uncle's house in Cleveland, Ohio, near the 2100 block of West 96th Street. That's a full mouth. Attendees of the party. So basically, the family at the party described Ashley being in a somber mood when she arrived. But then she became more joyful as she got in the pool and talked to her relatives. She danced, she had fun. But then Ashley left the party early, around 6 o'clock p.m. She hugged everybody, hugged her uncles, and then informed them that she would be walking to her aunt's house to stay, which was only a couple blocks, or it was like a 10-minute walk, so it wasn't very far for her to go.
Right.
And then Ashley had all of her clothes with her. She didn't have any cell phone at that time, which we'll get into why she didn't have a cell phone. Her aunt's house, like I said, was just a 10-minute walk, but Ashley never made it there.
Ashley did own a cell phone, but it was no longer working. Her cell phone being broken could also explain her somber mood at the party earlier in the day before the pool party.
Right, which her uncle broke her phone.
Right.
I mean, he openly admitted he did. He broke it because he basically said that he overheard Ashley gossiping about the family on her phone. And then it made him really mad. So Uncle Kevin destroyed her phone because she was gossiping. But what I don't understand is how your family, everybody gossips. We do. It's just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
What could have been so terrible that he broke her phone?
Right.
And then another thing is I don't get is if he broke her phone, why didn't she go to one of her relatives' houses or even use his phone to call her mom and let her know that, hey, she doesn't have a cell phone, and explain to mom why she didn't have a phone? Because coming from mom experience, the mama bear in me probably would have went over and whipped Uncle Kevin's ass.
Yeah.
Like, my child no longer has a way to contact me because your stupidity led to breaking my daughter's phone. So, like, at that point, she probably was just having the average teenager mood where she was just pissed off and just said forget about it and went on to the pool party. But why, if her and her mom had such a close relationship, my thought process is why not call mom?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. Is why she didn't phone home. Or maybe mom was at work. Probably. It was during the day, but it was during the 4th of July, so depending on what job her mom had, she probably would have been at work.
Right.
Because I don't quote me, but I think she had like 5 kids altogether, the mom did.
Yeah.
I think. I'm fairly certain. So that's a lot of mouths to feed, so mom never got a day off.
Right.
But, you know, I don't like Uncle Kev in.
Ashley was known for escaping to other family members' houses to spend the night. But when Jennifer Summers didn't hear from her daughter for 2 whole days, she became very concerned. She called Kevin Donathan at his house to see if Ashley was there, and he said he hadn't seen her since before the pool party. Jennifer knew that Ashley wasn't at her mom's, so she began calling around to other relatives with no luck. Beginning to panic, Jennifer went to the police to report Ashley missing. Suspecting Ashley had ran away voluntarily despite Jennifer's protests, police designate Ashley as an estranged runaway. Endangered runaway.
So,
the cops do that a lot.
So, 2 days have gone by. In a child abduction, the first 24 hours is very crucial to the case. So she was gone 2 whole days.
Right.
Which from the mom's standpoint, I understand she's with family. You're not going to think you're not going to think about it.
Right.
You're really not. My issue with this is the police were just like, she's 14, she ran away, she'll be back, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't the case. You know, they didn't do their job. How hard was it for them? The city pays them. They could have got off their asses and opened a case instead of saying, oh, she's just a runaway. She'll be back, Mom. Because, look, this was 2007 and we're now in 2024. Does it look like she come back, Cleveland, Ohio? No, it doesn't look like she came back.
Right.
But once again, we're talking early 2000s where they didn't have police reformants and stuff like that. Like, they didn't. They didn't have to do their job. But it's either runaways or sex workers or poor people who, you know, and that don't really get, if you're not a name brand person, you're just not going to get the respect that you deserve.
Absolutely.
And in this case, they left Mom just hanging in the balance, like, oh, it's okay, Mom, she's 14, she'll be back, it's fine, it's not real.
And my thing is, as a parent, you know how your child is going to act.
Routine-wise,
and
yeah.
you know their routine. So if Jennifer had, like, any reservations about her daughter, like, missing, the moment she thought her daughter was missing and she said something, that should have been the cop as, you know,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Especially, like, after calling
because
the family, you
right.
know, and then being like, oh, we've never seen her, we haven't seen her.
Absolutely. Because as a parent, you know these things.
Yeah, you got, like, that sixth sense gut feeling that something's not right. It absolutely pisses me off that Jennifer Summers didn't get the satisfaction of the doubt.
Right. And as we get deeper into the case, we will find more that she was just completely put off to the sidelines.
Oh, yeah. Ashley was thrown into a category. And, you know, listening to some of the things that I listened to and getting the information on this case, it kind of irritates me because they focused on Ashley's behavior. Rather, if Ashley was a straight A student, never got in trouble, never disobeyed, Ashley got a boyfriend, she did things that she wasn't supposed to. Her behavior should not have been categorized as such.
Right.
She is a girl, and it should have stayed that way, regardless of if she did something or not. Ashley was known for escaping to family members' houses to spend the night. But, oh, we already read that slide.
Mm-hmm.
Oopsie. Okay. All right. Disappointed in the response of the police. Go figure. All right. Mom's disappointed in the response from the police. Jennifer Summers and family decides they're going to take it upon themselves and organize a search party and post flyers themselves. Basically around town, hoping to get tips or some form of communication from Ashley. Mysteriously, allegedly, all of the flyers in Jean's neighborhood, I'm fairly certain, was ripped down within a day through a few tips that were submitted. Sources vary on the exact date of Ashley's disappearance, once again, ranging from July 4th to July 9th. So nobody actually knows or is talking when she exactly went missing. Some say she never made it at all to her aunt's from the party, which is just a 10-minute walk. So basically, when she left that party, a 10-minute walk changed everyone's life because nobody's heard from her since. Most sources have reported that Ashley's last known location, which I've stated is the 21 block of West Street, 96th Street on July 9th. So most people are saying the last time she was seen July 9th. But then again, there are some sources that report that the FBI now believes Ashley's last known location was actually the area of West 44th Street and Trownbridge Avenue. I butchered that. Columbus, in Cleveland on July 8th, 2007. So if that is the case, and she went missing in July 8th, she never went to her aunt's house on the 4th. So 3 days. Where was she at for 3 days?
Right.
So 3 days she was missing, and nobody. At this point, she had no phone. But just because she didn't have a phone does not excuse why she would not reach out to her mother. And another thing is Uncle Kevin, who broke her phone, should have called Mom right away and said, "Hey, I got upset with Ashley and I accidentally broke her phone."
Right.
But of course, he didn't. So I don't know how the lack of communication is what's so frustrating in this case.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 weeks after Ashley's disappearance, Jennifer received a call a call at work from a blocked number. The voice on the other end said, "Mom, it's me. I'm okay. Don't worry." Before hanging up the phone, Jennifer said that it sounded like Ashley, but that she couldn't be sure. Later that year, November 17th, 2007, Ashley's grandparents claimed they had seen her walking along West 44th Street in Cleveland, but she was gone by the time they turned the car around. The woman they saw had short blonde hair, which matched tips they had received, and they believed it was Ashley. Sadly, neither of these occurrences led to any valuable information.
See, regardless of if she got a phone call or not and it was blocked, the FBI could have investigated that.
Yeah, the cops could have looked into it, and
Because here's the thing. What, hypothetically, if she was being held captive and there are some sorts of serial rapists and serial killers who get off on making their victims phone home. Why would you take that as so lightly? Yeah, it could have been a prankster, but because I feel like calling people around that time and pranking them was just normal, but it would have been a very sick joke.
yeah,
Now, as far as the grandparents possibly seeing her, hypothetically, if she was being trafficked, it wouldn't be uncommon. But who knows? I feel in that moment when your senses are on high alert, everybody is either potentially a suspect or every stranger you see is potentially the person that is missing.
right.
So they may have, I'm not discrediting what they saw, but they may have just wanted it to be Ashley so bad that, of course she's freshly missing. Of course they're wanting nothing but Ashley to come home. It just didn't work that way. So where the case stands today, the FBI became involved in Ashley's case. Finally, the FBI became involved in her case in 2008. May of 2008. So that had been what? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So almost 11 months. 11 months it took the FBI to be involved. 11 months too late, but whatever. May of 2008, when the National Centers of Missing and Exploited Children brought the case to their attention. The FBI Cleveland Division started to wonder if Ashley's case could be connected to other missing girls who disappeared from the Cleveland area. Amanda Berry disappeared April 21st, 2003, at the age of 16, while walking home from her job at Burger King. And Georgia DeGeneres Did you just? I'm gonna roll with it. Age 14, disappeared while walking home from school on April 2nd, 2004. Amanda in Georgia and Michelle Knight were found safe on May 6, 2013, after Amanda escaped Ariel Castro with the help of the neighbors, ending nearly 10 years of captivity. The Cleveland women had all been lured into their car, made it easy by the fact that they knew Castro's daughter. Well, that's just sick. Sick man.
Oh, yeah.
Rumors spread that Ashley may have been once in the house, but authorities could not find any evidence of her being there. Castro was sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years. However, 1 month into his sentence, Ariel Castro hung himself. Too easy. In his cell, ending all hope that could be provided answers for Ashley's disappearance. Here's my thing. I don't want to get too far into topic, but the girls that were in captivity did say they had not seen anything or heard anything with Ashley.
They said that they was the only 3 that was there.
But another thing, being in captivity for 10 years, do you think that they would turn on their captive? In the fear of getting him in trouble? But then again, Amanda escaped, so something gave her the will to be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I kind of makes you wonder. I don't think she was involved with Castro.
Yeah, I don't think he.
I don't think. I mean,
he had done some nasty, dirty things, but I don't personally feel like he had anything to do with.
Yeah, I don't.
Her.
I think that was. But I also feel like the only reason why Ashley's case got attention was because Ariel.
Yeah.
That's sad to say, but I don't think had the other 3 girls' case been made relevant, I don't think Ashley would have made it to the FBI.
Which is sad.
It is sad. But unfortunately, if you're not high profile, or at least a high profile case, or fit into that genre, you are beneath at that time. In the FBI, they're chasing the next big case, the next big break, and Ashley she wasn't in that category, which is sad. But somebody's got to know something.
Gene Gill, Ashley's older boyfriend, was out of town at a family reunion at the time of Ashley's disappearance. Police interviewed Gene multiple times, and his story remained consistent. Taking his alibi into consideration, along with his consistent story and lack of suspicion, authorities never named Gene as a person of interest.
Gene. So, I don't think he's a person of interest, but here's the thing. Family will lie, die, and swear for an alibi. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he did anything, but I think he could. If Ashley did, in fact, run away, as the police said, she's not going to go far from her boyfriend. At 16, he's the love of her life. He does no wrong. She's not leaving far from this kid. So if she went willingly, he would know where she went.
Oh, yeah. That would... If she went anywhere willingly, he would have more than likely been her first call.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. He would have been her first call because he most likely was her first for everything. First love, first rebel, first everything.
Yeah.
She's not going to drop him she's just not going to. So I don't think he had anything to do with it, but I think if Ashley ran away as police first suspected, I think Gene would have known where she was. She wasn't going to leave him very long. That's 100% without a shadow of a doubt. She was not going to leave him Ashley's family was also interrogated and given polygraph tests. I do believe the men in her family was. But the results have never been released. I know they're not admissible in court, but why not release them if there's nothing to hide? Makes no sense. Oh, take a polygraph test, but nobody's ever going to know the answers to them unless you go on like Steve Wilkos or something. All authorities were particularly interested in Ashley's older male relatives, as I stated. Kevin Donathan, who fought with Ashley on the day of her disappearance, ultimately, Ashley's case remained stagnant, so remained cold.
Yeah.
Cold, but a glance of hope appeared in January of 2015 when a woman photographed an ATM security camera inside the car in Rhode Island. So if that's the case, why didn't I mean they looked, but I don't know if they looked hard enough.
And what's weird about that is the woman at the ATM, the cops, all they did is they went to Jennifer and was like, it wasn't her. That was it. There was no reasoning behind why it wasn't her. It's just, it wasn't her.
I'm trying to. My theory is they didn't look hard enough because I think she didn't disappear. I think she went into witness protection. And I think she may have been the key to put her uncle away. Nobody knows anything better than the cousins. The cousins know everything.
Right.
Everything. I'm not saying that she would leave her mom behind and she would turn on the family and I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying it all. You just don't. She literally vanished, like clothes and all. And you're telling me in the 10 plus, 20 plus years and as many bodies and stuff that everybody's found and she's not been amongst one of them? She has to be alive.
Yeah.
Somewhere. And if not, the family still deserve answers.
The Summers family contacted the Cleveland FBI to report that a woman in a photo released by Warwick Police Department bore a striking resemblance to Ashley, who would have been 21 years old at the time. The photo was released in an attempt to identify the two people suspected of running an ATM and identity fraud scheme. The FBI has confirmed it was not Ashley in the photo.
And it honestly may not have been. I'm just saying, I personally don't think she's deceased.
I don't think she is either.
I really don't. And it all comes very. It's just the way the case was laid out against her uncle, which we'll get into. It was all made too easy. An in-source tip had to be. A more recent development, which may or may not be possibly related to Ashley's disappearances. Hypothetically, this is all hypothetical. We're just nobody's talking about a case. Involves her uncle Kevin Donathan, who Ashley had an argument with on the day of her disappearance. What was that argument about, Uncle Kevin? Because I would like to know. Kevin Donathan pled not guilty to charges of rape, attempted rape, and gross sexual imposition on December 4th, 2018. In addition to gross sexual misconduct of several minors, the 55-year-old admitted to crimes that happened over a span of 25 years. Holy... Yeah.
Wow.
You're telling me that he raped so many minors and he didn't touch his family relatives? I'm calling bullshit. Over 25 years, and he was sentenced to 35 years in prison on February 2020. Around 1 month before Kevin Donathan was arrested in November 8th of 2018, the FBI led a hands-on search of the back of his home, which you were discussing that.
Mm-hmm.
Despite this search, the FBI never officially named Kevin Donathan as a suspect in Ashley's disappearance. I don't...
My thing is, and this is just my opinion.
Well, yeah, we're hypothetically talking. We don't know what we're talking about.
He said that he broke her phone for gossiping about the family.
She's probably telling him.
What if she was telling a family member about what he, like, if he was doing something to her, and that's why he broke the phone?
Or she discovered his truth.
Exactly.
I'm not saying she's dead. If she's dead, my bank would be on Kevin. But here's the thing. He's already gone away for the rest of his miserable life anyway, so why not admit if he had done something? But it also says that there are some sources, which, you know, it's just sources. You can't really 100%. There are multiple different sources that also say that Kevin was involved in trafficking.
Right.
What if he sold her to keep her quiet?
And that's a possibility.
But you would think, being all these years, well, I mean, they drug him up and they keep him pretty out of it. But you would think all these years she would try and find her mom. Because surely her mom would never give up. Yeah, I think they could have looked harder, but why? My thing is why did they dig up his home? What led them to that search?
Yeah, because I don't, and that's one thing I didn't understand while looking into all of this. Why would they need to dig up his yard?
I don't know. And there's not really
what
anything
did they think he was hiding?
I think at this point they probably thought what we instantly thought was he
had something to do with
he
it.
had something to do with it, and I still strongly believe he does. Because either she ran away to escape the life that she was living, because she, at 14, you can rebel, but like, what caused her to rebel in that manner? Because sure, a boy has influence, but he doesn't have that much influence. And why was she stealing money? Sure, it says to get a tattoo, but what if she was stealing money to save for a bus ticket?
Yeah.
You know, sure, she got a tattoo. Yeah. She probably, honestly, most likely got that for free. Most likely. And if she didn't, she did pay for it. But my thing is she was stealing money. It just all adds up to she was stealing money. But what if she was actually using it to save back to escape the life? But she had such a close relationship with her mother. Why wouldn't she just tell her mom what was going on if something was going on? So it kind of just makes you push back and forth on what exactly happened. But you just don't go for a walk one day and then disappear.
Yeah, there's just so much to this.
Missing pieces, and I feel like a lot of the missing puzzle pieces is because nobody has the exact day and time she went missing. Did she go missing between the walk from the party to her aunt, or did she go missing a few days later? But then again, it doesn't explain where she was at for those 3 days before she did go missing.
Right.
There's just a lot of inconsistencies with the case in general.
On April 13th, 2021, the FBI dug up land in connection with Ashley's disappearance in the area of West 43rd Street and Train Avenue in Cleveland based on tips. However, only animal bones were found. In the time since her disappearance, a few additional potential locations have been identified, but authorities, including the 1100 block of Hamilton Avenue, Holdman,
Yeah.
Holdman Avenue, and the 3400 block of West 44th Street.
Here's the thing. If she did die, they could have taken her across state lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. And that's what sucks.
And my thing is, I don't know. I feel she's still alive.
I do too. I think so too, but what my brain can't wrap around is why not call mom? Why not call mom after all these years?
My only thought on that would be because she's been gone for so long, maybe she feels her mom
doesn't love her anymore.
Isn't looking anymore, which isn't true. Her mom is looking.
Yeah. She has an active Facebook account.
Her mom has never stopped looking.
No. And she honestly never will until she gets some form of answer. So, like, if you know something, say something. Because even after so many years, even the slightest involvement in the case, the chances are they're going to want to solve it more than they're going to want to prosecute. If there's any need to prosecute. This is a case that stays open on the books, and as long as it stays open, it's always gonna be open. I think she's still alive. I don't know if maybe she was trafficked. I don't know. Because here's the thing. Ashley seemed like a really smart girl. She really did. Like, everything that I read does not say she was arrogant or dumb. So, like, with that being said, it doesn't seem like Ashley's just going to get in the car with anybody.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be, from what I've read and heard, she doesn't seem like the type to just get into a vehicle with a stranger.
Yeah, she didn't seem like that type. She didn't seem, and it wasn't like it was cold that day or rainy or,
And I mean, it was only a 10-minute walk, so she wouldn't have needed a ride.
I don't see her just getting in the car with just anybody. So that's why if she was taken unwillingly, and being a 10-minute walk, you would think most likely the houses were fairly close together. So she left at 6 p.m. roughly. It doesn't start getting dark till like 9, 8:45, 9 o'clock. So in that time frame, the streets were busy. It was 4th of July. I guarantee you everything was busy. So, like, it...
Yeah, because people would be getting ready to go to the fireworks.
Right. So, it had to... If she was taking it had to be by somebody she knew. She just seemed like a really smart girl with a level head. Yeah, once again, rebellious, whatever. But she seemed really, really level-headed. So, like... She wasn't going to leave with just anybody. So it had to have been somebody close or somebody she knew. Or somebody that knew somebody that she knew.
Right.
Or said, hey, I know such and such. Let me give you a ride to such and such's house. She just didn't seem like the type at all. And being a teenager, she was on, I guarantee you, back in the day, it was MySpace. So she was on that MySpace and texting and doing typical teen stuff. So, had she have met somebody online, you would think the FBI would have looked into her MySpace account. You'd think they would have looked into their text messages.
You would have thought. I mean...
But the cops dropped the ball, too. Like, they really...
And then her case was overshadowed.
Yeah, and that's... it's sad. It really was overshadowed once they found those missing. Not saying the missing girls were not important.
Right. No.
They are important. It was just they overshadowed. They overtook the light, focused it on this big bust because it was a big bust. Don't get me wrong. 3 missing teens, 3 cases, and a terrible man put behind bars. great case, but Ashley's case was kind of put into that category because I feel like they wanted to pin Astro for Ashley's case.
Yeah.
They wanted it so bad, but they couldn't. So then they caught another bad man in the process. They caught her uncle. They tried so hard to pin it on him, and there just wasn't enough evidence lining it up. So it had to stay open. And Ashley's social media presence actually and phone activity ceased on the day of her disappearance or alleged disappearance because, once again, we don't know exactly when she disappeared. And there have not been any more confirmed sightings of Ashley since July 9th of 07. Now, if she is alive, it's so easy to change your appearance. It really is. And everybody's so concerned with their phones that they don't set up to just look at somebody because you look at somebody that they may like jab your eyeballs out now. It's like crazy. But if you have any information regarding the disappearance of Ashley Summers, please contact Cleveland Police Department, Cleveland, Ohio at 216-623-5005 or the FBI at 216-522-1400. And Ashley's mom has a Facebook as well. She has a whole entire Facebook dedicated to Ashley's disappearance. If you have any tips or maybe you know something or seen something or heard something and you don't feel comfortable reaching out to the FBI or the police department, maybe shoot the Facebook a message. I mean, you can completely keep it anonymous at this point.
You can even leave it in the comments of our videos.
Yeah. If you don't feel comfortable reaching out to Ashley's mom personally or the police department or the FBI, you can drop a comment. You can send us a message. You can even send Ashley's mom a message on the Facebook, which I will link her Facebook. I will put the exact name because it's like what Ashley Summers.
I think it's Find Ashley Summers. Find Ashley Summers.
Find Ashley Summers from Cleveland, Ohio. No, any little bit to keep this case alive and keep everything talking and keep just bringing awareness to not only just Ashley's case, but other women who have gone missing around the same time who have just been put in a category as a runaway or delinquent or never got the justice they deserved. And it's just not even girls on this point. There's a case, I think his name's Michael, that he went missing in 2004, I do believe, and he was never found either. But it's just like we're trying to bring awareness to cases that don't get the public's eye as much as they deserve.
Right.
And it's been 10 plus years. It's, if anything, the family just wants closure. They want to be able to bring Ashley home regardless of the situation. I mean, I feel like I've read that on her mom's Facebook. They just want to bring her home regardless of where she's at, what happened, if she's alive, if she's not alive.
They just want to know.
Right, because here's the thing, like, not knowing is the worst thing on the planet.
It really is.
Especially as a parent. Like, we do these podcasts, and we talk about murders, and we always figure out what happened in the end. We get that case closed. And with this episode, unfortunately, we don't get that case closed. We get left with the same feeling of what if, hypothetical, is she or isn't she?
And unfortunately, we get left with more questions than answers.
Right, and I don't personally know the Summers family, but that irritates me. I don't like having more questions than answers, especially as a mom, I would want to know regardless of the outcome. And after, like I've stated, after so many years, I think that they would rather just have the case closed than have it open and continuously haunting the detectives who, I mean, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, I just don't know if they really care because it was like an open and shut situation. So,
I mean, and with it being so long and all the new cops, like, I'm sure those cops aren't
like the other ones. No.
Yeah, I'm sure the newer cops and stuff are different than the ones that started the case.
Right.
But they can only do as much as
they can only do as much with it. They can only have and do with the information they do have.
Right.
And the information that they do have is not much to go on. At least the information that's been giving out to the public's not much to go on, because cops aren't going to release every little detail because they have to hold some back from the public. But even with the information they have, and it being so long, I highly doubt it's much more than what the public has.
Right.
And now it's time for the public to start thinking outside the box. All right? We already checked the uncle. Already checked the boyfriend. I do believe mom's boyfriend or husband was checked.
Yeah.
Which apparently they had a really good relationship until she became a teenager. But, you know, it is what it is. He was checked. Now it's time to start looking at outside suspects. Ariel was checked. But I'm fairly certain it was him and 3 brothers. Or was it just him?
It was just him.
Was it just him? Okay. But he was checked. But unfortunately, without a body to go on, there's not a lot to prosecute. So until they either find her body alive or find her body in general, there's nothing more the police can do but continuously seek out and ask for outside help. And that's, we're doing, and I've seen a few other podcasters talk about her case and try and just rev up and get the public's attention on this and bring it to the attention. Like, if it was your daughter or your niece or your aunt, you're going to want attention brought.
Yeah, and they was on an episode of what was it? Disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
like I said, take this episode and just think of if it was your loved one or your child, you would want all the information as much as possible. And even though it's been so many years, somebody knows something. Right. Just say something. You know, it's a sad podcast, sad episode, not podcast, sad episode, because we have more questions and answers, and we don't get to say, yeah, they caught the bad guy and he got what he deserved, because unfortunately whoever took Ashley's still out there and have not gotten what they deserve just yet. So that's gonna be a wrap on this week's episode. I'm Cheyenne.
And I'm Heather.
Make sure you hit the like button. Feel free to leave a comment, please. And also, you can check us out on Spotify. We are up and running there. We are going to be getting TikTok up and running. YouTube is up and running. You can check us out on there. So with that, new episode Sunday. Bye.